We are starting out today's little project here, which is going to be a swamp patrol, Imperial swamp patrol, with our first bit of structure here. Got two what will ultimately become little marsh islands. You go look at a swamp, you're always going to have little berms of land just above the water level where you've got weeds and plants and stuff growing up, and then you've got all the swamp water in between. We're going to do these as sand green and dark green, and we're going to put plates over on the top of these, round and wedge plates, to form these little islands. We'll put some swamp trees and plants on them, and then we're going to put just straight black pieces in between these little islands to form our very dark, murky swamp water. So let's go ahead and start putting some of the water in here. We'll move on and do more islands. As we go through here and build these islands, I am adding in some of these 2 stud wide bricks so that we can have this be 2 studs high, have our border around it, but also be able to press down on this thing and have it hold itself up. So there's going to be our inner structure. It's kind of at random, but more or less in the center of this. And as we move along with our islands, we're going to go ahead and add in some more here. Like I said, these are just little marshy areas. My son did this one. He did a great job. And of course, we're just going to continue on. We'll fit that in here somewhere and continue building the murky, dark swamp water in around all this. All right, here's the last of our islands. Let's go ahead and put it into the swamp and go from there. All right, this is going to be, I think, the last of our marshy island areas, and I'll go ahead and finish up this bottom area. Should just be mostly black parts. We'll get that going. Okay, let's go ahead and finish all of this up so we can move on to our border. This was all pretty easy just to fit together here, and done. Okay, here we go. We are ready for our border design. Now that we are done with our swamp water base here, remembering that we've got a couple of 2 stud wide bricks in here, knowing that we're going to have this thing be 2 studs high. Maybe wondering if this is the top to the bottom, these studs, how do you put a border like this over here and make it work? Well, here's how we're going to do it. Let's set this aside. All right, so what I have made is, using these particular snot bricks, we've made 2 sides, basically a mirror of each other. All right, we're going to lay them like so, okay? And then we'll be able to take these like this. All right, see if I can do this one-handed. Here we go. Oops. Okay. Right, now you see here how this works, and then we are able to fit this on here like so. We can do this again one-handed. All right. Once we've got that in there like this, we will be able to take our swamp and slide it in there just like that, and then we can finish placing the borders on like so. And then of course the top fits on easily as it combines with both the substructure we made and the swamp water itself. So we'll get that tightened up. I need both hands to do it, but there we are. That's how you do it. All right, we're ready to go for our slightly above water level islands here. Let's see if I got my geometry correct on these things. There we go, fits in there just right. And then over here, let's do this one. There we go. Wonderful. And last but not least, and this is just a mirror of that one, just keeping things simple here. Let's see where this one goes. Oh, perfect. There we go. Okay, that looks good. So you can see how, because of the way we've designed this here, it's marshy. And this is just slightly above water level, but we've got it where it blends in down here with the sand green and dark green in the water. So we really got a nice, I think a nice color scheme to show this murky swamp water. All right, let's go ahead and start getting some foliage on these things. Okay, now that we got our islands in here, let us go ahead and start getting these bits of ground cover in here to really help us blend in the little island portions with the swamp water and all that. We'll go ahead and get all this in here. We'll do all three of these, and we'll come back in just a second when I've got it all done. I'll probably put in a few of the olive green pieces as well, just to get some diversity of color in here. So let's see how all this ground foliage turns out. Now that we're done with these islands, let's go ahead and start filling up our swamp reeds here. All right, I really enjoy this part here where you make it to where it really blends in well with the swampy patches here. It's just, you know, soil just beneath the surface, just enough to have some reeds with their roots in there coming up, but not quite high enough like what we've got with these little island patches above the water. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish these out, and we'll see what it looks like. We are now ready to go with our trees and minifigs. And here are our trees. I've got quite a few of them made. My son actually designed these, so I liked them, and we're going to go with them. Just some regular old swamp trees with some epiphytic plants hanging from it, you know, moss or whatever. And we will go ahead and start putting these in, I think, some random places, and we'll go ahead and fit the rest of these on here and come back in a second. Okay, I needed both of my hands to get all of these in here just right. So now we can go ahead with our troops, and for this, I am going to use my extremely expensive Memban Stormtroopers. These guys are in a tropical environment, dirty, muddy, wet. They're walking through these swamps. This is, of course, our squad leader here. Got a 5-man fire team we're going to have, and let's just try to go ahead and fit him in here somewhere. Here we go. There he is on a bit of a patch of marshland right here, so he can look out. And what we're going to do for the rest of our guys is remove the legs, and then let's see if I can get this guy in here without knocking everything down. These boys are going to be walking through the swamp water while the squad leader's looking ahead. Let's go ahead and get these guys in here. Have them just walking through the water. Here's this guy. We got his helmet turned a little bit. Have him looking out over this way. And then our last guy. Let's go ahead and get him in there. Bringing up the rear. All right. So we are done. We are done. I think this looks excellent. Using the studs on top sideways profile here allowed us to really get a nice, better resolution, if you want to call it that, on our floating patches of swamp algae and plants, and our little islands with our trees on it. So here are our guys, a little 5-man team walking through the swamps on some random tropical planet. I really like how this turned out. I hope you do too.